Through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you may need it. We would love to connect with you. That's what's different about this show. We have you call in. It's not an on-air call. It's an off-air call, and we're going to help connect you with the absolute best experts in over 50 different categories of consumer advocate content and advice. Reach out to the hotline 813-750-0550. Call or text 813-750-0550 and hit the website at consumerqb.com. We got a action-packed episode for you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Going to talk a lot about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, and we have our expert contributors on the line. Before we jump into that, I want to let you know about a couple of our hot listings here in Tampa Bay. 1010 Bay Esplanade right here in Tampa Bay. Water right on the beach, north side of Clearwater Beach. You have quick access to the beaches. This is a gorgeous property in the $800,000 price range. And what I love about this property is you've got a additional unit that you can rent out, private apartment with a sun deck with beautiful views overlooking the intercoastal waterways and dolphin-filled waters of North Clearwater Beach right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, they're a first-class organization, did a great job with our family's move. Local or long distance moves, reach out to Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, in studio, Jackson Shembekar. Welcome in, my friend.
Thank you very much, Brandon.
Cryptocurrency expert at such a young age. Welcome in. What are you going to talk about today, my friend?
Yeah, today we're going to be talking everything crypto, exchanges, wallets, how to store currency, everything that we can, all about crypto.
Such a hot topic right now, too, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's been exploding in this last year.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Good stuff. Thanks for bringing that knowledge in. Diane Vance on the phones as well, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Hey, Diane.
Hey, Brandon. How you doing today? Beautiful day in Florida.
That's right. Just another day in paradise here. And what are you seeing on your side?
Oh, it's still busy, still shortage of everything we need, houses.
That's right. I'm trying to get new listings for us, so I'm out there every day.
You need that, and they go as fast as you get them.
They do. That's right. Absolutely. So that's awesome. And then we got William Crowley as well, rounding out our expert contributor panel. William Crowley, the credit magician.
Hey, good to be back. Going to be talking more about a continuation of what we talked about last month or a couple weeks ago regarding the Biden administration implementation of a public credit reporting agency versus the current credit reporting agency. So I want to talk a little bit more extensively about that.
Okay, sounds good to me. That's awesome. Well, we'll dive right into it. Diane, let's start off with Diane. So, Diane, we talk a lot about a local economy here in Tampa Bay. That's what's unique about our show, current events, things happening in Tampa Bay, and, the local economy. What are you seeing on a local level? And then let's talk more macro later.
Well, we're seeing a lot of people. Well, people probably notice how much the traffic has increased. That is not going away because we are having people all over the country moving to Florida. I have more people, since they can work remotely. The real estate industry in Florida is going to boom, and they are projecting it's going to stay that way for quite a few years because we have the sunshine, but that's not the only reason. We don't have income tax, our tax situation, beautiful beaches, great areas. I mean, the biggest problem, of course, is not having enough houses on the market right now. And I'm glad to hear that you're getting more and more listings. We're actually hearing a lot of my customers that were, thinking about selling, they're actually starting to think about actually seriously doing it and maybe buying another house. But all those people that refinance at the low rates, they may or may not. Some of them actually refinance. They're kind of, okay, maybe I do want to sell after all. We have a lot of those stories that, I refinanced my house, but now I really do want to actually buy. There's a house I like in the market, even though I refinanced in October. So we're seeing that a lot.
Yeah. Also, what you see too is that challenge of, hey, I got to find something new. If I sell my home, I talked to a lot of expired listings. They tried to sell, didn't sell. They pulled it off. Maybe they canceled the listing, and they say to me, well, I was going to sell my home, but I can't find anything I like on the buy side. So,
exactly.
But here's an important niche that people are missing, and this might be the best time in the history of Tampa Bay for move up buyers. Can you explain to us what a move up buyer is?
Yeah. Yep. So this is when you have your home and you're thinking about selling and you want to buy either a bigger home, downsize, whatever. But if you're moving up into a bigger home, that's a move-up buyer. Or a more expensive home. Let's say price point is maybe a little bit higher because you need a bigger house. Your family's expanded or something like that. What people can do, as long as you own a property, you can actually rent out your current home if you have enough down payment. Or like a customer that I talked to of yours, Brandon, he had actually a lot of equity in his house, so he's able to pull the equity out of his house to put down on a new house, and then he can rent out his current house, but he's able to get into a bigger house that he's always wanted to do. So
exactly.
That's a move-up buyer. So it's when they're moving, let's say it's their first home, maybe second home. Now they have maybe in-laws moving in or family or something like that, or just expanded family. They want to buy a more expensive home, or they've decided they really want to live on the water or something, anything like that. It's a move-up buyer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great time because there's less competition at that higher price point.
Yes, absolutely there is. Although we're seeing that also become competitive recently. We're seeing some of the houses, $650,000, being, multiple offers. Crazy.
Yeah, I just put one on at $850 last weekend. I literally hit send on the MLS submission Saturday morning, probably around 9 a.m. And within that day, I had multiple offers. $850,000 price point.
Oh yeah, it's amazing to me. I am really it's awesome. But that is what's going on. I mean, that's what the market is. So they go fast.
William, what about you, man? What are you seeing on your side?
Well, I'm just concerned with the Biden administration's viewpoint that they need to change the credit reporting agencies and create a public credit reporting agency, which I'm not totally against. I'm against what the credit reporting agencies are doing, but at the same time, there is a vehicle already put in place that we aren't talking about enough, and that is the Fair Credit Reporting Act that has been there since 1970. If we could just utilize the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the credit reporting agencies wouldn't be able to get away with what they're doing. And then the Biden administration and even previous administrations and other scenarios have always talked about, modifying the credit reporting agencies or getting rid of them. When in fact, if people would just understand the use of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, we can monitor the activity of the credit reporting agencies. So, for instance, there's always companies out there, or the Federal Trade Commission or other industries always saying, well, you can't remove accurate information from a credit report. The Fair Credit Reporting Act totally disputes that, because the information on a person's credit report that comes to me and other credit repair companies around the country, we know the information is accurate. I tell my clients all the time, yes, we know the information is accurate. The problem is that the credit reporting agencies are reporting the information without following the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So no matter what agency, whether you have a public credit reporting agency, the current credit reporting agency that exists, or something outside of that, the problem is that there's always going to be errors, and these institutions are going to create those errors, and the Fair Credit Reporting Act is there for the consumer to use against these type of abuses. Okay? Right. And I don't necessarily want to call them abuses, that the credit reporting agencies, yes, I guess we should call them abuses. Okay, I'm trying not to beat up on the credit reporting agencies.
It's okay.
Because I want to beat up on the consumer as well, because we have to be familiar with the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So no matter what they put in place, folks, everybody out there, remember that the Fair Credit Reporting Act that was created by Congress in 1970, that's not taught in the school system, Most people aren't familiar with these consumer laws, but they're there to benefit you. Just like the Constitution essentially protects our civil rights, the consumer laws protect our consumer rights. Okay, the Fair Credit Reporting Act is one prime example. Then there would be the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. These laws tell the credit reporting agency, hey, you made a mistake. You need to correct that. Now, one big problem I do see is that the credit reporting agencies aren't being able to investigate themselves. So it's kind of like going back and forth with the credit reporting agencies to have information removed, but nevertheless, it's successful. It just wouldn't take as long if we had an independent agency investigating the credit reporting agency. So I think that's what we really need, is something that gets the credit reporting agencies to adhere more quickly to the Fair Credit Reporting Act so that we can have information removed a lot quicker from the credit reports. Now, the credit reporting agencies are violating due process. I'm sorry, go ahead, Diane.
No, the problem is they self-regulate themselves.
Yes,
that is the problem. Yep.
It is. And so, but the Fair Credit Reporting Act, along with the Federal Trade Commission and the CFPB, the acronym standing for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, if we could just use these entities, the consumers would be in a much better place. And a lot of times, that's what we do as credit repair companies. We show the consumers how to use these laws to benefit themselves against the abuse of the credit reporting agency. Even though there's not an independent agency that's self-regulating, of course, but the Fair Credit Reporting Act is there, and if we could just become familiar with it. And that's what true credit repair companies are doing, is trying to teach the consumer the value of the Fair Credit Reporting Act and protecting yourself against these abuses that the credit reporting agencies are, notoriously getting away with. But nevertheless, it can be monitored if you would just familiarize yourself with the Fair Credit Reporting Act.
Yeah, self-regulation just can't happen. It's not going to happen in government. It's, especially bureaucracies. Plus, when you look at the Dodd-Frank, go back to the Dodd-Frank and the CFPB when that was originated, what it was again, another Wall Street play, big business, big politicians pushing for more regulation and making it harder for smaller entities to exist. So that's my opinion quickly on the CFPB. But stay with us. When we come back, more from our expert contributors. We've got Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage, local lenders support the local economy right here in Tampa Bay. Also, William Crowley, the credit magician. And coming up as well, special guest, we got Jackson Shembekar here in studio, cryptocurrency expert. Really interesting content around Bitcoin and some of the other NFTs and tax implications, I think, is going to be a big thing as well, according to some of these research that we've done here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, Consumer Quarterback Show page out there as well on Facebook, and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in any marketplace. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice. Three 750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. My wife Lindsay and I own a top-ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, top 1% ranked real estate team. And we got a couple of hot listings here. Let's talk about a commercial property available in Tampa Bay, 4449 Grand Boulevard. This is in Newport Richey. Now, this is a great opportunity because it's a drive-through style convenience store gas station, and it used to be rented out to farm stores. You got about 40 to 50,000 vehicles a day passing by. Plenty of parking, easy ingress and egress as well, and a major intersection at Grand Boulevard in Newport Richey. Great buying opportunity for investors and buyers here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And we also have some properties available. Here's one that's close to downtown, close to Ybor, and it's actually 3 different units all in one. But you've got 801 and 803 East Palm Avenue, close to the interstate, close to downtown Ybor. Great investment opportunity, multi-family cash producing income property right here in Tampa Bay. Also couple that with 1905 Taliaferro, and you've got some really cool assemblage opportunities there for potentially changing the zoning going forward. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And if you're here local, if you're ever thinking about a local staycation, check out the Bilmar Beach Resort over on Treasure Island, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. The beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort, Treasure Island. They've got 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Beach Bar and Restaurant, and just a gorgeous beach. And by the way, 90% of the rooms overlook the beach, which is very rare for hotels like that. Check out the Bilmar Beach Resort. Let Clyde Smith know. He's the general manager. Let Clyde Smith know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those great offers. All right, let's jump back into it. Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, William Crowley, and Jackson Shembekar here in studio. Cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. But Diane, I want to go back to you, get a little bit more pulse on the market. So we talk a little bit about the owner-occupied side of the business. What are you seeing on the investor side?
I will tell you. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac just made a change recently that the state, so they are raising the rates on investor and second homes. Is not a lot, but it's slightly higher than it was because there is such a shortage of properties. I think they're trying to get the people that are trying to buy primary homes. I don't know if that's the reason, but I have a feeling that is the reason. But there's still, we do a ton of second homes for those folks that aren't quite ready to move here permanently. We do a ton of those, a lot of investment properties, but the interest rates are still even with their slight increase. It's in the points, not in it's slight. It's very slight. It's probably 1/8 in the rate, maybe. And sometimes it's not even that. But that is a change in Florida because we're a big second home market. I mean, we are a huge second home market. So we have a lot of people looking for homes here. The plan is for them to find a home because they do know the market is tight before they sell their property up north. So that's a lot of those. And we have a lot of investors that already have homes here. And they may be I have an investor from Washington that is buying, up homes in Florida, not specifically in Tampa Bay, because it's still very reasonable here. Yeah. The prices, even though they have went up slightly, it's still a very reasonable real estate market.
Absolutely, yeah. You talked about the sunshine. There's no sunshine tax here in Florida. That's what's awesome, compared to California and other states, is there's no state income tax. So you have the ability to, come down and enjoy the low pricing and just a great opportunity for investors right now, especially when you look at Airbnb, vacation rentals by owner, all those types of scenarios. But one of the things you got to be careful of in that, Diane, is some of the local municipalities, they're going to say, no, we don't want that weekend change out in our community.
Which is kind of interesting to me because don't we have that anyways with hotels? I mean,
yeah,
I'm always interested. I'm like, wait a minute. But,
that's true.
Yeah.
And maybe they just.
I'm not sure I understand that, but I do know it happens.
Yeah, it's in the residential areas they're thinking, we don't want that in here, but I get it. And you look at also for Super Bowls and things like that, different events coming around. But
let's hope we have another one.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do it again. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's repeat.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks actually re-signed almost all of their players, from what I've read briefly.
Yeah. They
didn't re-sign Brady.
What? They got him. They got him another
They
year.
got him on. Yeah,
Don't scare me, William. Don't. He's the joker.
No,
There's
they
always
did.
a joker in the crowd.
He did resign.
Yeah. I think he
Matter of
did it
fact,
1 year.
He even took less so that he could actually have hire more players or bring up more players.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, we
exactly.
want Jameis Winston back.
No way.
Oh no.
That's
Well,
funny.
I think he's going to be the next New Orleans Saints, right? Is that where he's at?
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
But that's a run between he and the other Sims, right? Isn't that the other quarterback there?
Well, they're looking at Russell.
Oh, Russell. Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Supposedly now. I heard some rumors.
Wow. But he must be a free agent, maybe, huh? Wow.
No, he just signed a big contract with Seattle, but Russell was thinking about opting out or something. I'm not sure. Brandon, you would know more about that.
Yeah, I don't follow sports as much as I used to, man. I really don't.
Because he's busy
more.
selling real estate.
That's right. Yeah, it's busy. It's busy, with the business. But I do like to follow, somewhat. But if you just joined us, by the way, we're talking with Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, right here in Tampa Bay. William Crowley's on the line, longtime friend of the program. Probably 5 or 6 years now, William. We've been talking credit on the air and, helping a lot of folks. When you look at credit, we offer your credit package from time to time. Maybe we'll do that in the next segment. But talk a little bit about how you and Diane work together when it comes to, because sometimes there's
right.
Hey, I heard of 75% increase in online scams and identity theft. I mean, that's a big thing happening right now.
Yeah, that's a big thing happening. But once again, I just tell people the Fair Credit Reporting Act and even the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act can stem off a lot of that type of adverse activity. It's just that most consumers are blindsided because they're not familiar with the consumer laws that help them. So when I'm working with Diane's clients, I have to always remind the clients that I'm not the lender. I'm cleaning you up to get you ready for Diane. So I won't necessarily never know when you're ready for the loan. I leave that up to Diane at Fairway to deal with that. But when Diane sends me a client, the first thing I look at is what negative information is it that they have. And Diane will usually alert me as to what really needs to be addressed. Even though we want to go after everything, I still want to hear the input from the lender because what Diane informs us of is what's going to get that client ready for a loan. What we're looking at is just getting the client ready for every aspect of life. So not to downplay what Diane's doing, but the client did go to Diane for a loan, a mortgage loan, so therefore she has to get them prepared for that. So we try to take it a step above that and say, okay, we're going to do this according to what Diane says, and we're going to address these other negative items as well because that could impact your life at a later date.
Right.
So we want to get you, ready for that loan in the most legal way possible by utilization of the Fair Credit Reporting Act.
Yeah, and mistakes are made. That's one of the challenges too, William. Is mistakes are made in the process, and people are looking for that second home or that investment property, and they're just not pre-approved or they're just not looking at everything properly. And then Diane, speak for a minute or two about how complicated the market is in terms of multiple offers, highest and best. How competitive it is, and what you need to do to win those deals.
Well, one thing that I have noticed is that not every lender out there is created equal. I guess I should say,
right.
Is that we take it very serious. So when I ask a customer for all their documentation, it's because I want them to win the deal.
Yes.
And because I have looked at their income, I have looked at their credit. Now, I will tell you there is a misconception out there. The credit bureaus, that when you get your personal one from your credit card or you get the Credit Karma or wherever you're getting it from online, even online Experian or one of those, that is not the same mortgage algorithm that is used on a mortgage. So it's called a FICO 2, which is not what those are considered personal credit reports, and they're always typically higher than what actual reality is. So a lot of people are very surprised when they may see 750 and it comes in at 703, or they may see 640 and it's 580.
All right, let's dive a little deeper on the other side of this break. Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. William Crowley, the credit magician, credit restoration expert. And coming up as well, Jackson Shembekar, right here in studio, cryptocurrency expert on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we will also talk about our feel-good story of the day, as we always do. Wall Street Bets users donate over $338,000 to adopt gorillas and more. Stay with us, Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you check out consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Brandon, let me know if you guys want to proceed right away. All right, everybody, please stand by then.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. And we want to help you win in your real estate deals. If you're buying, selling, or investing, of course, we would love to talk to you. And we take great pride in helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. We actually feature our real estate properties live on air to help you get more exposure. So here's a great example of that. 12208 Four Oaks Road in Tampa. This is a development opportunity. Attention builders, developers, entrepreneurs. This is 5 acres, zone R9. So you could build potentially up to 40 units. Or I've talked to a couple investors who are talking about maybe switching it to changing the zoning to a commercial opportunity, because you've got a lot of great frontage on Four Oaks Road and Nixon Road there in Tampa Bay, close to Del Mabry, Carrollwood area. Also, we'll stick with the theme here of investment opportunities. 41 acres up in Pasco County, 12500 Hamlin Road. This is 41 acres, prime land to be developed. Eventually, it's going to be developed at some point. Townhomes, single-family homes, great opportunities, again, for investors. 12500 Hamlin Road. Price point is right around your $900,000, $950,000 price point. Great opportunity. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And this segment is brought to you by Discovery Golf Cars, a.k.a. Golf Cart Depot. Longtime friends of the program as well, for business or recreation. It seems like everybody's getting a golf cart these days. They're so much fun. They've got multiple different types of makes and models for you as well. Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman. You can get new or pre-owned, as well as rent or buy Discovery Golf Cars. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, on the show, we've got Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, local area lender supporting the local economy here. She's a regional manager for a top 5 lender in the country. And William Crowley, the credit magician, and coming up, Jackson Shembekar, right here in studio as well, cryptocurrency expert. And Diane, I want to go back to your story. You were kind of in the middle of making a point, and then I'm going to bring Jackson in and talk a little cryptocurrency.
Okay. Oh, I was talking about the FICO credit scores that you get online versus what the mortgage company pulls is always different. So just want people to be aware of that.
Yep, and then know, and the theme of that too was just, hey, look at, if you are looking to purchase, be diligent, be proactive, get in the process, because once you pull that credit score, you're going to probably find some things that you didn't know were there, just because of the sheer amount of identity theft and things happening out there. People don't realize that. And then William, later we're going to add. I want to add your credit package. I want to offer that, but I want to bring Jackson into the conversation. So Jackson, how'd you get started in cryptocurrency, my friend?
So in crypto, it was actually a great story. I'm a senior right now at Jesuit High School, and I got introduced to it as a freshman. And so as a freshman, there was a very, very smart student. He was a senior at the time. His name's Nick Indelicato. He's a very, very smart guy. He's a chemical engineer at the moment. And what he did was he told me about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and he had an opportunity himself to make a lot of money. He got into a coin. It was called Ripple. It still exists today. He got in basically at 25 cents, and at the time it was trading at $3. And he did very, very well on that. and that kind of piqued my interest a bit, and I started to do a lot of research. And what he did was he told me all about it, and all I did was I started to really, really learn about it. I took that very same night, I went on Amazon, I got a bunch of books all about Bitcoin, and I learned about podcasts, and I started researching the entire thing. And so I learned a lot about that my first year, and I started doing my first Bitcoin investing. And I invested before the 2017 boom. It was a little bit early, towards the beginning of the school year, and I made a lot of money up front. And then afterwards, shortly after, it was a bear market. And all I did was, because I did all that research, I started investing, and I continued to invest in the bear market, and that was very, very fruitful for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And so it sounds to me kind of like immersion, right? You immersed yourself in, like Tony Robbins, one of my favorites. I've been to his business mastery course that was taught in Mali, Fiji, back in 2010. Wow, 11 years ago now. But yeah, so you've immersed yourself in, and you're actually a player in the game. So that's unique to some people that are, talking heads. They're not actually in the game. But here's an interesting story. It just says hardcore Bitcoin enthusiasts say the digital coins is the world's best hedge against rising consumer prices, which we're seeing a lot of right now. Cost of groceries, cost of gas. And it says the logic, unlike US dollars or any other normal currency, is designed to have a limited supply, so it can't be devalued by a government or a central bank distributing too much of it. What's your take on that?
Absolutely, yeah. The biggest thing with the US dollar, and we're seeing it now, of course, with constant stimulus, is that there's inflation, and it happens very, very rapidly.
Right.
Places like Venezuela obviously fell victim to that, and what we're seeing now with Bitcoin is not an inflation, but instead a deflationary asset.
Yeah.
It's hard capped at 21 million, and essentially what that means is as more people enter the Bitcoin ecosystem, that will now increase the value instead of decreasing it like the dollar.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then, talk a little bit about what exactly Bitcoin is. I think, many of our listeners are probably like, what is Bitcoin? I've heard of it. They don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to understand Bitcoin, you really have to go back to blockchain. And that is what the initial invention was. Blockchain was invented back in 1991, but it was never actually applied until a guy named Satoshi Nakamoto. It's actually just an alias. We don't know if it was a person or a group of people, but Satoshi Nakamoto basically created the first blockchain. And that was done in 2008. And it's very crucial that it happened in 2008 because that happened right after the financial crisis, of course.
Yeah.
People were really, really, really scared for their housing and what was happening. And they were saying that we need a better solution because the banks aren't actually helping us, right?
Right.
And what happened, it was they created the blockchain, and the blockchain was created in 2008. And then in 2009, it started to actually be used as an application. It was just an open source software, which that's what Bitcoin essentially is. And in 2010, then 2 years after its inception, 2010 was when it first actually was used as a transaction. And it's the most famous transaction. It was 10,000 Bitcoin in exchange for one pizza. Right?
Oh, wow.
And these pizzas then, for 10,000 Bitcoin in today's market, that values the pizza at $600 million.
$600 million. Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that shows how much it's grown now. What is a Bitcoin going for now?
Today, right now, I believe today it's trading at about $58,000 to $59,000 per coin.
Per coin.
Yes.
Wow. And you can have fractional ownership of a coin?
Yes, that's one of the really, really good parts about it. For $1, it can only be traded in cents, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a Bitcoin can be traded down to the 100 millionth, right?
Wow.
And so they're called Satoshis at that point. You have the Bitcoin standard, and then it can go all the way down to Satoshis.
Wow, interesting.
Yes.
And I think the sentiment back in 07, 08 was, wow, the government really, kind of screwed us over here. They let this real estate market boom happen, and they deregulated. So I think the sentiment was almost like perfect timing for 08, as you mentioned. People were looking for an alternative. They were almost kind of a way to kind of, put their nose up to the bankers and the big Wall Street firms.
Yeah, the main thing on that was that banks were overextending, and these people at the top, they got greedy. And so it was a bunch of people down at the bottom. It's so funny that you mentioned the Wall Street bets today. And so it was all the people at the bottom, they got together. And it's interesting that in the financial system, all these people, they create currencies, but they're never actually intended for the user. And so in this circumstance, we had some of the smartest people in the world create a currency that was completely designed for efficiency.
Yeah.
And this is truly what I believe, and a lot of other people do, the most efficient currency that we have today.
Yeah, exactly. And then, bringing it to, here we are in March of 2021, can you buy, where can you spend a Bitcoin at?
Yeah, so spending is a little bit more difficult, but we are getting to that point, right? So the application, it's as I've mentioned, it's only a little over 10 years old, and so application is really starting to pick up. You can actually book hotels now with Bitcoin. You can go spend it on furniture, and you can actually spend it. But as you mentioned with acquiring it, that's where a lot of people don't really know what to do. It's a brand new thing. A lot of older people aren't super tech savvy still.
Yep.
And so the question is, how do you get in? And so there are more than about 12 different ways that you can actually acquire cryptocurrency, but I think the top 3 come down to buying, mining, and staking. And those are the biggest three. And so buying is the most common. It's the most beginner-friendly technique used. And all you're going to do is essentially you're going to create an account on an exchange, and you're going to trade your US dollars for cryptocurrency.
Nice.
And it's as simple as that. It can happen in one day. For other more complex things, the vetting process is longer, but it can, same day, you can acquire cryptocurrency.
Yeah. And mining, you mentioned mining.
Yes.
For me, about a year or two ago when I was, investigating it, like that to me was like, I had a disconnect there. I'm like, wait, how can you create this currency? So can you talk about mining?
Of course, yeah. So mining, again, that is how Bitcoin comes into the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
What I mentioned was that it's a deflationary asset. In essence, people can't just go print Bitcoin as they can money.
Right.
And so you can print money, to infinity. There's no actual limit. So for Bitcoin, the limit is at 21 million, and miners can mine this on their own computers at home.
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting. It's all backed by users, and the users mine the crypto, right?
Wow.
So what they do is they're exchanging their computing power for the Bitcoin. What these computers do is they solve complex mathematical equations. They're called SHA 256. Again, very hard to understand for beginners. But these people, they're basically exchanging their electricity for the then Bitcoin reward, which is obviously financially incentivized.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
If you just joined us, by the way, we're talking with Jackson Shembekar here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, talking cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin specifically, but there are all other types of Bitcoins out there. You mentioned the Federal Reserve and printing of money, and to me, as a mid 40-something person here, I remember back in the day when if they were going to do a multi-billion-dollar deal, that was a big deal for Congress to be passing.
Yeah.
Now with under the guise of Corona and this Chinese Communist Party released virus, we're printing $1.9 trillion.
Yes, with a T, trillion.
With a T. So we're up to like 5 trillion now. We're again back 10, 15, 20 years ago, billion was a big number.
Yeah.
First of all, I think people lose sight of how much is a million, how much is a billion, how much is a trillion. Our brains can't really wrap our minds.
You really can't understand the exponential. You can't.
Yeah. So just think about the disservice that our Congress is doing for us right now. As human beings, they're watering down our paper, our currencies. We're taking huge risk here by doing that. But so Bitcoin makes it even more of an attractive opportunity here with Bitcoin.
Yeah, and as more and more money gets printed, obviously there is a short-term benefit. We're benefiting all the new businesses that are out there and that have to stay afloat.
Yeah.
But long-term, all we're doing is devaluing that economy.
Yeah.
And as we see it, Bitcoin is now being promoted more and more as more people realize that 40% of all money in circulation right now has been printed in the last 12 months.
Unbelievable.
And that
That's
statistic
a great
is really
point.
mind-blowing.
That
So
is.
12 months, 40% of all dollars, right?
Unbelievable.
And so a lot of people are turning back to exactly what happened in 08, and they're saying, wow, let me go to a system that is completely peer-to-peer, completely decentralized, completely away from the government.
Yeah.
And it's working very, very, very nicely.
Yeah, exactly. And some people are buying from our friend Shane Socash over at David Reynolds Jewelry. They're buying silver, gold.
Yep.
That those are kind of intrinsic. There's some intrinsic value there versus a fiat currency.
For sure.
Maybe we'll talk about that on the next side. We got to take a quick break here, and we're going to bring William Crowley, Diane Vance back into the conversation as well. We're going to offer a free credit package as well, and more with Jackson, of course, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the Real Estate Quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253.
Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty, we want to help you win buying, selling, or investing. Got a great opportunity. Here's another investor opportunity in Tampa Bay, 5402 U.S. Highway 92. If you've ever wanted to own your own bar, here's an opportunity. This is a cash cow, bringing in about $10,000 a week in income and cash revenue, as well as the Finish Line Saloon out in Plant City, 5402 U.S. Highway 92. I get a bar listed out in Plant City, and that's what's unique about real estate. One day I'm listing a penthouse. I left a penthouse suite in Clearwater Beach, $2.6 million listing. Hopefully you'll see that popping up. One day I'm listing a bar, vacant land, commercial properties. I love real estate, so we would love to help you buying, selling, or investing. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And one of the staples of our show is our feel-good story of the day. We're going to tell you something good.
Tell me something good.
All right, so we got GameStop investors on the popular subreddit Wall Street Bets have raised over $338,000 for the Diane Fossey Gorilla Fund in less than a week. So members of Wall Street Bets calling themselves apes, which is inspired by a user to adopt a gorilla through the fund and the world's largest and longest running organization fully dedicated to gorilla conservation. And so they posted a photo of the adoption confirmation, which inspired other Wall Street Bets members to follow suit. And on Monday, they were highlighted, and it says, quote, "On Saturday, a friend alerted us that member of WSB subreddit had posted a symbolic adoption of our infant gorilla." And then after adoption followed. Today, we have the numbers to share. Thanks to hashtag Wall Street Bets, we've received more than 2,000 new adoptions totaling over $265,000 just since Saturday, and it still keeps coming. So pretty cool story. And Jackson, you're more in tune to this than me. What does that actually mean? What's that translate to?
Absolutely. I mean, the whole thing with the gorilla is that these guys, a lot of these guys are younger guys. They like risk. And this is a group of people that they call themselves degenerates. The whole thing is basically a joke to them. But what they do is they're taking a stand against the big guy. As I was saying earlier, what they did was they executed one of the biggest short squeeze in history with GameStop. And they made these hedge funds who obviously they take advantage of everyone and they make a lot of money, a lot of different people money, most at the top.
Yep.
And they said, let's go against them. And they made these hedge funds lose billions of dollars, and they did very, very good job at doing it.
Well deserved, yeah. Because that's one of my main gripes also about the 08 meltdown was, what they do. I think it was orchestrated. It was a power grab. It was a money play. And then who bought all the inventory of these poor people losing their homes to these loans that they knew they couldn't pay back, these pick-a-payment loans? The billionaire hedge funds came in and did that. So, Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, William Crowley, I want to go ahead and get your final thoughts, and then we're going to let you go. Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, top tips, nuggets of advice.
Yes, it's a very hot market, so make sure you prepare ahead of time. Don't go out and look at homes until you get pre-approved.
Absolutely. And what do you think about all that Bitcoin stuff? It's pretty interesting, isn't it?
Well, my son actually, I'm one of those older generations, but my son actually does the mining. He actually lives in Seattle, so electricity is cheap there, and he does mining. So it's above my head.
That's cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Diane.
Thank
we appreciate it.
You have a great day.
Hey, you too. All right, William Crowley, top tips, parting words, and we got to get your credit package in, my friend.
Oh, yeah, but I like the Bitcoin as well, and I liked it because the Federal Reserve has hardly no regulatory power over that. Is that correct? But anyway, you can answer that later.
Yes.
So in the package for the credit restoration, we're going to show the client how to legally improve their credit and then legally not pay debts that they don't owe any longer. The charge-off debt, we're going to use the Fair Debt Collection Price Act. We're going to show you how to use the validation of debt letter to stop the collectors. We're going to show you how to use the Fair Credit Reporting Act to immediately, legally restore your credit and get back on track to be able to buy those properties from Brandon and from Diane.
Awesome. Yeah, let's offer that credit package. So this is where you might want to pull out your smartphone, text in. We're going to offer the credit package, but also you can text, text pre-approval if you want to get with Diana, or if you want more information about crypto, just text the word crypto. But the credit package is also, if you text the word credit to the hotline, we're going to teach you how to opt out of pre-screening, cut off the junk mail coming to your mailbox, reduce your chances of identity theft, and really help you there. You can text crypto, text credit to 813-750-0550. Call or text 813-750-0550, and that's our consumer advocate hotline. That's a call. If you're not a texter, leave a voicemail. And again, just say you want to get a pre-approval for a mortgage, maybe some credit information or crypto information. 813-750-0550, and you can also submit the form at consumerqb.com. consumerqb.com. And I want to go back to Jackson here. So I also hear that you may be writing a book. Is that right? You got a book coming out?
Yeah, I mean, you know what they say, Brandon, that not to believe everything you hear, but in this case, it actually is really true. This whole idea basically stemmed from a lot of people were approaching me. It started initially with just high school baseball buddies. They were all asking me about crypto, but it ended up stemming all the way up to 8- and 9-figure business execs. And they were all asking me, being that they've known I've been in the space for 3 to 4 years now. And they've said, I mean, when is a good time to get in? All about these things. How do I store keys? All these different things that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was asking, it was between like 50 and up to multiple hundreds of people about what even is crypto. And a lot of people still didn't really understand it. So we're going to be, we have a book in the works, and it'll just be my story and all about crypto and how I basically did what I did.
I love it. You know, it's part of a great, salesperson, people in business. I've written 3 books. I'm almost done with my 3rd right now called Quarterbacking Success.
Okay.
Think and Grow Your Real Estate Millionaire Empire. So I love that idea, the fact that you're stepping out at such a young age. I imagine you've been very precocious your whole childhood. So it's pretty cool, man. You definitely have great parenting, and you,
sure.
You're doing some really big things. So excited about that. What else didn't we cover? Is there anything else you may want to talk about that we didn't hit on?
I think a big point is that that it's not really regulated, right? And so the government, what they can do is they can try and stop it, but they really can't. The only thing that they could do is they could slow it down, right? They could try and monitor IP addresses, but essentially how the Bitcoin network works is that with these miners, they mine the network and they create blocks on the blockchain.
Yeah.
And another interesting statistic is that 7% of all bank transactions are fraudulent, and yet there has never been one fraudulent Bitcoin transaction.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So you talk about we upside, got downside. I've heard people say, well, what if the United States? And I think J.P. Morgan started their own cryptocurrency. What are some of the challenges? Or, as a business, we do SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What would be a SWOT analysis for crypto?
For the entire market, or just Bitcoin in specific?
Well, just in general. Yeah.
What the interesting thing about crypto is that there are vast amounts of them. There's over 2,000 cryptocurrencies in existence, and admittedly, most of them are terrible. Most of them are really, really bad. They're just cash grabs. Being that it's not regulated, it's unsimilar to the stock market that pump and dumps are allowed.
Pump and dump, yeah.
Lots and lots of people will get together and they'll create these small cap coins in which all they do is try and bring as much money in as fast as they can and then get out at the top.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street style.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly like that. And thousands of people are doing this, and so there are a lot of victims, but more towards the top, more towards the reputable coins that have been around for a couple of years now. And the newer projects that actually have goals, I think those will have a really, really bright future.
Quick question. Can you buy real estate in crypto?
You actually can, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So what happens? The seller has to say okay to that?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think eventually all real estate transactions will be taken over on the blockchain.
Wow.
It's very, very simple. And for those large purchase prices, obviously, the fees are very, very low. And so you wouldn't have to deal with a title company that's taking thousands of dollars. You wouldn't have to take any fees, any extra steps. It's A to B, nothing involved.
Yeah. Wow, it's such an interesting thing. And I know some of the cryptos are backed by they'll play a different play on it, backed by gold or something like that. And we kind of teased that earlier, difference between a fiat currency and something that has intrinsic value.
Yes. Yeah. And so a lot of coins are backed by different things. We have Bitcoin being backed obviously by itself almost, and lots of different currencies backed by different things. All of these currencies have unique goals in mind, right? So some of them, there's a new one called Tether. It's not really new anymore, but it was once upon a time, and that was the first stable coin. So it was backed by the not the U.S. government, but it was backed by people saying that $1 for every single tether you have, there's $1 being backed.
Interesting. Okay. And give out your information. How can people contact you? You got your Instagram handle?
Yeah, it's at Jackson Shembekar, just my first and last name.
Spell it for me just to make sure.
JacksonShembekar.
What's the title of the book? Do you know the title yet?
Not yet. No, we're working on it, though.
Work in process, right?
Absolutely.
Progress. Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, yeah, another great show, man. Thanks for coming in. That's a lot of great, advice, information, advice, and rapid fire here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah,
Appreciate
for sure.
it.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, my pleasure. All right, as we always say, we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. Maybe you might want to think about donating some time, donating some blood, donating some food. I mean, lots of ways that you can be a force for good in the community. Do something kind for one another, and we would love to connect with you on all of our different social medias. By the way, our YouTube channel has a lot of subscribers. Over we think we got 1,200 plus videos now on our YouTube, over 100,000 views, right at 100,000 views. So connect with us on YouTube, Brandon Rhymes Realty, as well as at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, Consumer Quarterback Show page out there on Facebook, as well as the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.